everyone, and welcome back to my channel for another episode of the Wolf Glick Pokemon Draft League. This is week 3, which is just at about our halfway point of our 7-week regular season. And so far, we faced off against Shady Penguin and Poke-Aim, but we still have such a stacked season ahead of us. We've got Mountay, Uzi Gunner, James Beck, Wolf Glick, of course, and then Aaron Cybertron Zheng is our opponent for this week. Aaron has a ton of competitive Pokemon experience, and I, probably like many of you, love his Road to Rank series as well as the other content that he's created. He was one of the first people that I watched to get into Pokemon VGC, and he's one of the people that I still keep up with to this day for their competitive Pokemon content. I also feel really lucky that I get to cast alongside Aaron. We've been casting official tournaments together since 2020, and you might have seen us in places like the World Championships in Yokohama, Japan, or in Anaheim, California just a couple of months ago. I love casting with Aaron, and I've also had a blast with our special content sets over the years. We got a chance to do a caster battle on the official Pokemon stream. We battled against each other in the Wolf Glick auction style draft league tournament. And now we get a chance to face off against each other in a brand new format. That one caster battle was so funny because every single Pokemon that I brought only had one move, and it was a priority punch move. I liked to call it the One Punch Fam, and I thought that was really clever at the time. And for the auction style draft tournament, I ended up getting pretty lucky with some of the fissures that I hit versus Aaron. So we are 1-1 in our special formats, which means that this one will break the tie. I've used Dondozo against Aaron, but this time he's using it against me, as his team consists of Dondozo, Tatsugiri, Goldengo, Murkrow, Slacking, Weezing, Galarian form, Toadschool, Pawmot, Dugtrio, and Yanma. So far, Aaron has only brought Dondozo, Tatsugiri, Goldengo, Murkrow, Slacking, and Galarian Weezing to his previous matches. So I'm expecting that he's going to do more of the same in this week. The team has 3 fairly functional duos. You've got Goldengo and Murkrow, Dondozo and Tatsugiri, as well as Slacking and Galarian Weezing. And that can make it really hard to play against because it's hard to predict what he's going to end up bringing in the front and what duo he decides to bring in the back. Dondozo and Tatsugiri is a classic. Commander gives a boost to Dondozo's stats, a 2-stage increase to attack, defense, special defense, and speed. The drawback is that Tatsugiri is unable to use moves while combined with Dondozo. However, sometimes that can be a benefit. Even though you can't see Tatsugiri, it still gets counted as a Pokemon on the field, even though it is in a state of invulnerability inside Dondozo. So moves that are doing spread damage actually still get calculated as damage as though there are 2 Pokemon on the field, even though you can only see one. It's actually kind of annoying because if you target into the slot that this Tatsugiri switches into and then the Tatsugiri combines with the Dondozo, your move doesn't work. It just misses the Tatsugiri entirely and it doesn't redirect into the Dondozo. I still hate that it's like that. With the +2 attack boost from Commander, Dondozo is hitting really hard. But even with all of those additional boosts that Commander is giving to Dondozo, Dondozo being on the field by itself can leave it vulnerable to things like getting Intimidate cycled, so you're overall doing less damage. You could get crit, so all of those defense boosts don't matter. Or you could also be inflicted with a status condition, which reduces Dondozo's overall longevity on the field. You could also build your team to have defensive Terras that can wall Dondozo, like a Terra Fairy if you're expecting Order Up, or a Terra Water to resist those super powerful wave crashes. That's why we've seen some really creative approaches to getting another Pokemon on the field while Dondozo has all of these boosts. Tatsugiri holding a Toxic Orb. Tatsugiri gets poison from the Toxic Orb once it hits the field. You get to combine with Dondozo, and then Tatsugiri all the while is taking poison damage while it is inside Dondozo. And once it faints, Dondozo gets to keep the boosts, and then you get a chance to bring in another Pokemon alongside Dondozo that might be able to help it fight a little bit better. The trade-off is that you are losing your Tatsugiri, so you don't actually have the additional Pokemon for later, but It's nice if you just have another Pokemon next to Dondozo and Dondozo keeps itself alive somehow. Dondozo has a couple of different options for abilities that it can run. You can run Dondozo as Unaware, which ignores your opponent's stat changes, or Oblivious, so you cannot get intimidated or taunted. The benefits of Oblivious in our match is that I have double Intimidate as an option, and Dondozo is set up from things like Substitute. Yana is also another common move, which is another nice thing to taunt. Unaware is great against opposing setup teams, but a downside is that Unaware also ignores stat decreases. If I'm using Leaf Storm or Draco Meteor into Dondozo, Dondozo will ignore those special attack drops so I can freely spam those moves without losing out on any damage. Common attacks on Dondozo include Body Press, which is great with the +2 defense from Tatsugiri's commander, but you also have Earthquake, Outrage, Double Edge, Wave Crash, Rock Slide, and Heavy Slam, which gives Dondozo plenty of options for strong physical attacks as well as coverage. Tatsugiri, on the other hand, is more special attack focused, and in VGC usually has a combination of moves like Muddy Water, Draco Meteor, and Hydro Pump. But you can also run a more supportive set making use of Dragon Cheer, Icy Wind for speed control, Rain Dance if you want to shut off weather, and Helping Hand to boost damage. This makes Tatsugiri a really versatile Pokemon, either to combo with Dondozo and then get the cleanup once Dondozo gets KO'd, or Tatsugiri can come in and help any other ally. The next duo we're going to break down is Goldengo and Murkrow. Goldengo has been one of the best Pokemon in non-restricted formats, and even when legendaries were allowed, Goldengo was still keeping up with the power level, because it was so strong. Goldengo and Murkrow have been run together so that Murkrow can set Tailwind with priority from Prankster, and can also use Haze to remove the special attack drops Goldengo would have from using Make It Rain. And that's really one of the reasons Goldengo has been so powerful. Make It Rain is its signature move, which is a 100% accurate Steel-type spread damaging move. So many Pokemon get hit by Make It Rain for neutral or super effective damage, and it's strong special attackers like Goldengo that have conditioned the meta to include things like Snarl to drop special attack, a Self Vest as a held item to increase a Pokemon's special defense, and defensive Terras that resist Make It Rain. Goldengo has so many benefits as an offensive powerhouse beyond Make It Rain. Dual Steel Ghost typing is nuts. Goldengo has 9 resists and 3 immunities. There's also just so many cool sets it can run. You can lean really heavily into its enormous 133 special attack stat with a choice specs running Make It Rain, Shadow Ball, and coverage options from Power Gem and Thunderbolt. Focus Blast is also a really fun tech move. You could also run a Choice Specs or a Choice Scarf set with Trick to give yourself a unique way to stop an opposing Pokemon by trading items. You don't need a Choice Specs if you run Nasty Plot. While it requires a turn of setup, this is a popular option so you have 2 turns where you don't need to worry about the special attack drops from Make It Rain. You can also lean into Make It Rain even further with a Metal Coat to boost Steel type damage and a Steel Terra. This Pokemon also learns Substitute, Reflect, and Light Screen. Although those moves kind of feel like a waste when Goldengo already has amazing offense and great natural defense. Oh, and we can't forget about Goldengo's signature ability, Good as Gold. Good as Gold makes Goldengo immune to status moves. So you can't Spore Goldengo, you can't Thunder Wave Goldengo, you can't Taunt Goldengo. Its ability makes Goldengo so hard to shut down. You kind of just have to knock it out before it gets too much damage off into you. It is no wonder why Goldengo was worth 20 points in this draft. Murkrow has a lot of other benefits with the Prankster ability beyond Tailwind and Haze support for Goldengo. Obviously the Tailwind is super nice for any other Pokemon on the team, but Murkrow gets so many options for status moves. You have Rain Dance and Sunny Day to change the weather, ways to disrupt opposing Pokemon with Confuse Ray, Thunder Wave, Scary Face, Quash, and Taunt. While Murkrow doesn't have the best stats, it's able to survive a lot with Eviolite, and it doesn't even need to make use of its own stats if it's using moves like Foul Play, which uses the target's attack stat against it. The final duo on the team is Slacking and Galarian Weezing. And Slacking is a weird one. It's like a giant sledgehammer. It's got an attack stat of 160. And it's also quite fast. It is faster than 8 out of my 10 Pokemon on my team. And then to top it all off, it also has an HP stat of 150, so it's not easy to knock out either. Its ability Truant is how this Pokemon is kept from getting too out of hand, since Slacking will loaf around every other turn and just not attack. But with Galarian Weezing and Neutralizing Gas, you disable all other Pokemon's abilities, so Slacking can have Truant turned off. It's similar to if you remember the Regigigas and Weezing strategies from Sword and Shield. the neutralizing gas from the Galarian Weezing just shut off the slow start on the Regigigas. Giga Impact from slacking just basically one-shots my entire roster. I can EV a couple of Pokemon to survive and Giga Impact from slacking when it's intimidated, but with Life Orb, those damage calculations are uncomfortable and it's still taking quite a bit of defensive investment for me to survive. I also have no idea what this Pokemon is going to run because I haven't seen it super often in competitive. I have to imagine that there's going to be Giga Impact and then the rest of it, we'll just have to figure it out while we're in match. At a cursory glance, this Pokemon is Wild Charge, Earthquake, Knockoff seems very good, Play Rough, Ice Punch, X-Scissor. Did you know that this Pokemon gets one physical move per type in the game? Except water? Well, does get water if you count Terra Water, Terra Blast. But still, that is so unfair. That's so many different coverage options to have to account for. I should use this Pokemon next time we're doing a draft league. Weezing enables the slacking so it doesn't have to worry about its ability, but it is still difficult to position because there are some Pokemon on the team, like Golden Go, that you actually wouldn't want to have neutralizing gas turn off their ability. Did you imagine a scenario, I kind of hope this happens, where Weezing shuts off Good as Gold and then I can taunt or Thunder Wave the Golden Go? You just don't see that every day. Weezing doesn't have to be neutralizing gas, but I see the Truon ability as such a negative to slacking that it's the ability that makes the most sense to me. Weezing could otherwise be Levitate, which would make it immune to super effective ground type attacks, or it can be Misty Surge. I think both abilities are viable depending on the situation. Misty Terrain does not holistically boost the power of fairy type attacks, which is lame in my opinion, but it does reduce the damage from dragon type attacks, so Pokemon like my Garchomp would be affected. Plus, Misty Terrain also blocks status conditions, so strategies like Yawn become less effective, or even trying to Will-O-Wisp the slacking. I am worried about a few particular things from Weezing. Getting the ability right is important, but Weezing gets access to some neat stuff like Poison Gas, which could just poison both of my Pokemon. It gets Will-O-Wisp, so my physical attackers are under threat. And Weezing is pretty bulky, so it's hard to remove it before it does something impactful if it is playing a more supportive role. Strange Steam and Dazzling Gleam make pretty decent offensive options as well. Weezing doesn't have the most amazing offensive stats, but it's still a poison and fairy type Pokemon, and having any sort of same type attack bonus poison attack is generally a pretty big win. So there it is, Dondozo and Tatsugiri, Golden Go and Murkrow, and Galarian Weezing and Slacking. When Pokemon combo well as distinct pairs on a team, and there are 3 pairs to that team, we often call this team archetype a 2-2-2. This can be really hard to play against because not only do you have to predict what's in the front as the pair, you also have to predict what pair is going to be coming in the back. And you have different strategies depending on which pair you see. They're not all going to work against the same duo. It's different if you're playing a balanced team, or at the very least, it is less important for you to predict the leads right, because you'll usually have other tools that you can work with, like pivoting or bulk or something that's going to allow you to change the course of the game if you do get that first piece wrong. And both Dondozo and Tatsugiri are fully capable of operating on their own. You could also consider bringing one Pokemon and not the other when you're team building. It is a little uncommon to see Tatsugiri by itself on a team, given that there are a lot of other Pokemon that fit that move pool better, but in a draft league where you only have 10 Pokemon to build your team around, it might be better for you to just bring Tatsugiri and not Dondozo in 1 week. We have seen several competitive teams make great use of solo Dondozo, so if Aaron really wanted to, he could put solo Dondozo on his team with Fissure and just get some revenge after that auction draft league match. I kind of deserve it after some of the luck that I had it to him, and I think it'd be pretty funny for the content. I do think actually if there is any Pokemon that's going to come this week outside of what I'm expecting from Weezing, Slacking, Dondozo, Tatsugiri, Golden Go, Murkrow, it would actually be in the Tatsugiri slot. And one of the first Pokemon that comes to mind is Pawmot. I used Pawmot in the Shuckle Premier League and I really enjoyed it. It has Revival Blessing, which will revive a Pokemon with half of its HP, Fake Out, and a pretty great physical attack stat. You could also really throw someone off with the damage output from Iron Fist, and all of Palmot's punch moves. Iron Fist increases the damage of punching moves by 20%, and you could also give it a punching glove as a held item to boost damage even further since the modifier stacks. Dugtrio is really funny in theory with Arena Trap and Sandveil, but we actually have a few Pokemon on the team that would be immune to Arena Trap, and I'm actually benching the Tyranitar this week. I would love to poke fun at how badly we played with Tyranitar in week 2, and that is the reason why we're benching it. But the reality is, I don't think that Tyranitar is going to be very good this week. And Dugtrio probably isn't very good either. I guess Toadschool could come because it has great natural synergy with Galarian Weezing, but the thing is a wet noodle. It's pretty slow, so I have a lot of ways that I can KO it before it can get a fast Spore off. And last but not least, there is Yanma. Frisk is actually a really solid ability in draft because we're playing a closed team sheet open Terra format. So you don't know any information about the opposing team until it's revealed in game. Yanma also gets speed boost, so it can just keep increasing its speed at the end of every turn, so there are some cool things you can do with it, like Tailwind and Sword Stance setup. But this is another one of those cases where I'm likely to knock it out before it can get enough damage. To recap, I believe that Aaron is going to be bringing Dondozo, Tatsugiri, Murkrow, Goldengo, Slacking, and Galarian Weezing. Dondozo, Goldengo, and Slacking are huge offensive threats this week, and Dondozo in particular, I'm going to need to have enough answers to so it doesn't get out of hand. So let's talk about what I'm bringing this week. Our goal this week is to somehow out-damage Aaron before he can out-damage us. Aaron's team has really nice natural bulk and or defensive typing on all of his major offensive threats, Dondozo, Slacking, and Goldengo. Dondozo in particular is really annoying because it could either be oblivious and block intimidates, or it could be unaware. Our strategies into both of those sets differ pretty heavily, and on top of that, the commander boosts are going to make it really challenging to knock out Dondozo in a timely manner. Overall, Aaron's team is also just super fast. Palmot and Dugtrio are both faster than my entire team. Technically, Palmot and Scyther are speed tied, but we are not max speed investment in Scyther this week, so we can have a bit more bulk to survive things like Giga Impact. This week, we are bringing Scyther, Clefable, Garchomp, Rotom Mow, Houndstone, and Gyarados. Unfortunately, Tyranitar and Hitmontop are benched, and Fletchinger and Alcremie have yet to see play, but their time is coming. We've built in a lot of offensive disruption this week with things like Follow Me on Clefable, Will-O-Wisp on Houndstone, and Intimidate and Thunder Wave on Gyarados. Hopefully these tools will allow us to stick around for even one more additional turn so that our Pokemon can do damage. Clefable is mostly there for Dondozo. We have Grass Knot, which is a reliable 2-hit KO onto Dondozo because it is so heavy. And if Slacking is Terra Water, Grass Knot is also going to be nice into it because it is also super heavy. Scyther is just an Eviolite set this week. We are giving up the additional damage from Choice Band, but that's because we really need the defensive investment to survive some of Aaron's heavy hitters. Scyther is trained to survive a Choice Specs Make It Rain from Goldengo without Steel Terra, and if for some reason Slacking is running Double Edge over Giga Impact, then Scyther would be able to survive that as well. If the Slacking is holding a Life Orb, it becomes a roll to survive that, but with Intimidate, we should be okay. In terms of damage, Thief should do about 65% to a non-terastallized Goldengo, and hopefully that puts it into a comfortable enough range that something else on the team can pick up the KO. Scyther is once again in a position where I will use it if I feel like I can get a positive damage trade with it, either with that big Thief into Goldengo, or something like a close combat into Slacking. Gyarados has Ability Shield this week in preparation for Galarian Weezing. With Ability Shield, we'll still be able to get Intimidate drops onto Slacking and Dondozo if it is not oblivious. That was a fun fact that I learned during my prep this week, is that Ability Shield does not allow you to intimidate a Pokemon with an ability that would otherwise block it. That is very good information for me to remember, and it is also very important that I keep in mind that I cannot taunt or Thunder Wave the Goldengo. Rotom Mow is coming as Dondozo hate. Leaf Storm is at minimum 65% damage to Dondozo even with commander boosts. And if the Dondozo is unaware, then it's ignoring the special attack drops that happen to Rotom after using Leaf Storm. Rotom is also able to get a 2-hit knockout into Weezing with Thunderbolt. And we have Shadow Ball on the team, specifically for Goldengo, but we have to be really careful about our move selection since we are Choice Specs this week. We are trained to be faster than modest Goldengo. Houndstone may be one of my favorite sets this week. We've had Houndstone on the team for previous weeks, and it may seem a little silly without Houndstone's friend Tyranitar, but this week, Houndstone is fluffy! Houndstone doesn't actually look like the most cuddly Pokemon, but Fluffy reduces the damage Houndstone takes from contact moves by 50%. Houndstone is also a nice counter to Slacking with its normal type moves, but we need to be careful of something like Knockoff. That's why we've got Focus Sash this week. We'll also have Will-O-Wisp for Aaron's physically offensive threats, and Shadow Sneak to do priority damage. If we can get Aaron's Pokemon low enough, then Shadow Sneak may be able to pick things off in the late game. Garchomp is set up to be our MVP this week. Garchomp makes the best Terra candidate with Terra Water to resist Golden Ghost Make It Rains. We're giving it a Choice Scarf so that it can be faster than Aaron's team. We should outspeed Choice Scarf modest Golden Go, but if Golden Go is max speed timid, then we won't. This could be a great way to get information to adjust in future games. Earthquake is a nice move to have this week since we have both Gyarados and Scyther that will be immune. On this particular Garchomp spread, Earthquake has a 35% chance to one-hit knock out a non-bulk investment Golden Go, which means that otherwise I could realistically expect a 2-hit knockout if it doesn't defensively Terra. I could also just go for Rock Slide flinches. In terms of our game-by-game game plan, Gyarados and Garchomp and Scyther both make viable leads. They will put on a lot of offensive pressure, and hopefully Choice Scarf Garchomp will get the jump on anything that Aaron decides to lead. Gyarados will also hopefully see either Slacking or Dondozo to get an Intimidate drop down, or learn some valuable information about Dondozo's ability. And then we can start going for Thunder Waves and get some speed control in. In the back, we can bring any combination of Clefable for Dondozo and Rotom-Mow and Houndstone to get that endgame cleanup. We just have to get that Pokemon prediction right for what's in the lead and what's in the back. And with that, let's play! Aaron has almost exactly what I expected, but he benched the Dondozo, which is... I actually wasn't even prepared for this. Well, if there's no Dondozo, then I think I actually have to expect either he will be leading with Golden Go and Murkrow, or he's going to lead with the Slacking and the Wheezing. Wow, this is like, I'm actually kind of dumbfounded. This is not, I think I can still go for the game plan that I want to. I would lead... Does anything get punished by still leading Garchomp and Gyarados? I don't think so. I'm gonna get a lot of information about this Wheezing by doing that. There's no Dondozo. What? I don't know what to do. Yeah, I guess I will simply just go Gyarados and Garchomp, and then like in the back, well, Clefable is going to be pretty good for the Slacking, and then Houndstone just for Slacking. Oh wow, I actually have no idea how this one's going to go, because Alright, well, it's gonna be Murkrow and Slacking. So there is a possibility of Slacking just being able to get the Wheezing next to it. But of course I get the Intimidate drop because there's no Wheezing that's on the field. I still have the ability shield that would protect me for being able to use the Intimidate anyway. So that's actually a really good thing. But the fact that Murkrow is on the field, is there anything that it can do that's going to just enable the Slacking right away? Does it just get a different ability? I don't think so. I think I'm just gonna Thunder Wave the Slacking then, and then I think I'm just going to lock into, I think I'm just gonna lock in a Rock Slide, honestly. Slacking gets to move now, but it's already gotten an Intimidate drop, and it uses Ice Punch, so I should have Terra'd. I definitely should have Terra'd. Well, that's one move that it has. I'm also expecting that it's going to have something like... Knockoff? Oh, but now where do I go from here? It's got Ice Punch. I guess I'll just follow me. All right, I'm going to follow me. I'm going to use Waterfall into the Murkrow. And honestly, I don't want to get caught out by something else. But I don't know what else it has. I think I'm just going to go for Moonblast into that slot too, since the Weezing could theoretically just come in and then shut off the Truant ability. But now this is really important. So Aaron has Tailwind, and he has this, like, he has two, yeah. Oh, it's actually gonna be slacking the switches. That's crazy. And it's Golden Go that's going to hit the field. Murkrow does Taunt, so I'm learning a little bit more. It's got Tailwind, it has Taunt. I still just need to go for damage into Murkrow, so Waterfall damage is nice. Just gonna go for Moonblast into it as well, and that's a nice knockout. So amazing, we got one down. But there's still 2 more turns of Tailwind. Two more turns of Tailwind. Now this Golden Go is on the field, and this is where I need to actually get a lot of information. I think I'm slower, well, I'm definitely slower in Tailwind. But outside of Tailwind, I otherwise might be faster unless this is a Choice Scarf Golden Go. Ideally now, I actually need to find ways to stall out the Tailwind. And Aaron's in kind of an awkward spot because, like, the Taunter is gone. He can't taunt my Gyarados. I obviously can't use Thunder Wave into the Gyarados, but it's the slacking that comes in, and maybe there is no Weezing in the back. It's really awkward if I actually get the Golden Go next to the Weezing, since that would shut off the Golden Go's Good as Gold ability, so I actually think I would like to aim for that. If slacking goes for Protect on this turn, then it can't attack unless it... I think I'm actually just gonna hit the slacking. I'll go for Moonblast into it as well. This slacking is Terra Ghost, so I should not use Grass Knot into it. But Moonblast is going to do a considerable amount of damage, and even in Tailwind, both of my Pokemon should be... Oh, actually, slacking is quite fast. Oh! Thunderbolt from the Golden Go goes crazy. Wow, that's nuts. Wow, I barely take that double edge, which is insane. Well, that's Life Orb, I think. Or wait. I'll pay more attention. Well, I have Focus Sash that I can leverage on the Houndstone now. But the Weezing is now on the field, so is it Misty Terrain or is it going to be the actual neutralizing gas? Yeah, that's wonderful. It's actually really... Oh, Weezing floats in the air with its... with its air balloon. That's so crazy. Okay, Golden Go is a flying Terra. Okay, but let me think critically about this. There's one more turn of Tailwind, so I actually think, like, I should Protect here on both Pokemon. Oh wait, I can't. Oh no. All right, well, you can't hit both. No, I should Protect though and like Moonblast the Weezing. Or maybe it was actually always like a Moonblast the Golden Go angle and then try to go for the Shadow Sneak on the next turn. The Shadow Sneak now does not KO. I could have definitely leveraged the Houndstone's Focus Sash, but now at this point in the game, this Golden Go is... Ooh, is it Choice Specs? Or is it just Choice? Oh, that's a really hard thing to figure out right now, but... Weezing does have Will-O-Wisp, and I kind of wonder maybe if, like... Golden goes really fast, and unfortunately it is faster than my Houndstone. I'd like to know how much this does. He has to assume that I have Shadow Sneak, right? Oh, that does a little... Okay. Well, it is choice locked, though. I think he would have used literally anything else. So that's actually kind of a big deal. Thunderbolt... Being stuck with Thunderbolt, I can take another one actually pretty comfortably. Yeah, and then I will survive. But I'm obviously going to do less damage. But I think I should just go for Last Respects here. Maybe hope that I can win versus the Weezing. Because the Golden Go is... Well, the Golden Go and the Weezing are both faster. I think I still lose this game anyway. But it would have been kind of nice to actually get some damage down with the Houndstone. But there kind of wasn't really a way for me to go around that. And I'm going to get knocked out to the burn damage anyway. But knowing that this Last Respects probably would have KO'd otherwise is really good information for me. And if I had protected the Gyarados instead of falling to the choice specs on this Pokemon, then I think we would have also been in a really good spot. But I have a lot of information now. Heading into this game number 2, I have a lot of information. I think either Aaron could lean back into something like the Murkrow and the Golden Go, or he could go do the game 1 game plan again of going with the Murkrow and the Slacking. Either way, I kind of like the adjustment of being able to bring Scyther. I now know, of course, that the Slacking has Ice Punch, and that's going to do a lot to the Scyther. But if I really wanted to, I could Terrastalize the Scyther. But I think maybe it's actually just better if I go for, like, Clefable Scyther, get the Follow Me. At least I can get a KO onto something. Since I have the Eviolite, I also should be able to survive mostly anything else. And then in the very back, I really didn't hate the idea of being able to use the Gyarados. He knows a lot of information about that as well, but my Garchomp did nothing, which is also so sad. But I think maybe if I go... Well, I guess... Actually, I'll go Garchomp Scyther, maybe, then bring Gyarados in and Clefable. Houndstone was okay, but after seeing the amount of damage that I did, it just doesn't, like, feel great. Oh no, I'm running out of time. Okay, I'll just do this. It's so hard because in this particular matchup, I have to predict what Aaron's going to bring in the front, and then of course, have the right Pokemon for what he brings in the back. I was expecting more of 2-2-2, but I think that, you know, Palmot, Golden Go is the adjustment, and I actually think Scyther Clefable works out just a little bit better for me. And I think I brought Garchomp in the back. Perfect. I think this is exactly what I wanted. I think I could, well, I know it's a spec set, so I can actually safely go for double protect here. Try to bait out the fake out from the Palmot, and then deal with the Golden Go. Or at least I think it's choice specs. Maybe he just wasn't giving me any information, and it's not. Well, there's no fake out from the Palmot, and it's just going to be 3 protects from Palmot, Scyther, and Clefable. So hopefully this Golden Go actually is going to be a choice spec set, so it's not going to do something like Nasty Plot. But he just goes for Make It Rain, which I think is also perfect. I would ideally like to avoid the Make It Rain with the Clefable again, and I think that's where I could actually go for something like the Terra Water on the Clefable, and then I have a lot of time. But for now, I kind of feel like I go for Terra Water, and then maybe I just go for Dual Wing Beat into the Palmot. We get around something like a Focus Sash. But Double Shock is like so scary. Double Shock is actually really scary, and Palmot's very fast. Oh, I just kind of have to hope that the dual wing beat's actually going to knock it out. So I am going to terrestrialize so that I can get around the Make It Rain, since I know that's what the Golden Go locked into. But obviously, going for Follow Me with the Palm Mod there is really risky. If this Palm Mod is max speed, it will outspeed my Scyther since I don't have max training. But hopefully, I survive something anyway. And it's going to be the Make It Rain from the Golden Go first, which makes a lot of sense. Really nice bulky coverage there for my Scyther as well as my Clefable, but this is the moment to shine! And the Palmot does go first. I think, honestly, it's okay. I would have liked to be able to hold on to the Clefable a little bit longer, and it is quite sad that I now don't have the terrestrialization. But hopefully my Scyther will be able to do something good here. It is going to be a fighting type now, which is a big deal, so Dual Wing Beat is going to be able to get the knockout. That's a trade I'm actually kind of happy with. The Eviolite on the Scyther took that hit from the Golden Go pretty comfortably, and now Aaron is in this spot where he has to bring something in that I can take advantage of. I have to imagine it's going to be the slacking again. So I think I will bring in the Gyarados and then go from there. What does he bench? He could also have the Tatsugiri, but I feel like Tatsugiri against this team doesn't do the most amazing stuff. But I think Gyarados is safe no matter what. Depends on what kind of damage there is. But obviously, if the Golden Go is locked into choice specs, Make It Rain, then I can bring my Gyarados in here pretty comfortably. And then Aaron has to either bring in the slacking, or he has to bring in the Wheezing next to the Golden Go, which doesn't make any sense. I think if he benched anything, it was the Murkrow. So hopefully for this, we get the Intimidate drop onto the slacking. Hopefully that's going to allow our Scyther to live. But if I'm remembering my calculations correctly, I don't live the double edge. Not after taking this much damage, no way. But I think I should be fast. I actually really think I should be faster than the slacking. So I think I'll go ahead and hit the close combat into it. And at least, like, do an amount of damage. He doesn't have speed control, so I should be faster. The only thing that might not be is this Gyarados. But I think I really just need to KO the slacking. If there's a Protect that comes through, that is a little bit sad, but I do expect the Golden Go to switch out. It's already at -1 special attack. And then you bring the Wheezing in. Now there's no abilities. But I already got the Intimidate drop onto the slacking, which is nice. He's still so much faster. I have a lot of speed investment into my Scyther. Wow, that's nuts. I wasn't expecting that to be that much faster at all, but I get Garchomp in, and so that's really challenging. They have Dazzling Gleam. I just kind of have to hope that I don't actually get beat up by the... Oh. I really hope that I don't get beat up by that. You know what, actually? Maybe I should lock EQ. My Garchomp is going to be faster than everything else, so we lock EQ since I'm a flying type Pokemon. And obviously the air balloon is not going to pop, but I really need to get rid of this slacking. So Earthquake doesn't do nearly enough, and the Ice Punch again. Oh, I forgot I needed Terrestrialization here. Yeah, using it so early on the Clefable was such a huge mistake. Because I think if I had the Terra Water in this endgame, I think I win. But I now am 1v1 versus Gyarados. Like, I'm 1v1 with the Gyarados versus a Weezing that has Will-O-Wisp as well as the Golden Go. So, like, major credit to Aaron. I think using the Terrestrialization so early was a huge downfall. I just kind of thought that the trade-off of being able to make sure that I survived the Make It Rain would have been good, but But that's a calculation that I missed out on. If I knew that the Clefable would have survived anyway, it would have been great. But unfortunately here, I do just probably lose unless I can. This is funny. Well, okay. The Golden Go just gets the Thunderbolt into me, but it would have been funny to show off that Thunder Wave or T-Wave would have gone through in the face of this Golden Go. But GG's to Aaron, and he gets the win this week. Ah, closed team sheet, man. When our game plan is centralized around getting better damage trades, then we get jump scared by a random one-hit knockout, that is not good. Aaron made great decisions this week to put the Ice Punch on the Slacking as well as Thunderbolt on the Golden Go. Thunderbolt on a Choice Slot Golden Go is a lot more common, but it still ended up being the perfect bring into my team this week. Immediately before we even get into game 1, I'm thrown off guard by the fact that Aaron has decided to bench Dondozo this week. And I just wasn't able to come up with an adaptation or an alternative game plan fast enough in that 1.5 minute window we have while in team preview. I'm the type of person that plays my best VGC when I have a clear game plan and goal in mind. So when in our preparation this week, Dondozo was a huge threat and something that we needed to make sure we had an actual solution for, and then it wasn't there, I heard myself in confusion. All I'm saying, he had the chance to do the funniest thing with Fissure Dondozo this week. In game 1, I like my leads, but Garchomp isn't putting on as much offensive pressure into those two Pokemon as I would have liked, and it would have been smarter for me to preserve the Choice Scarf on Garchomp for later on when Tailwind turns had expired. So instead, I could have switched out the Garchomp and swapped in Clefable. Clefable's still taking a lot of damage from Ice Punch, but having Clefable on the field sets me up for the next turn. I could have also terrestrialized the Garchomp because Terra Water would have allowed me to survive the Ice Punch. But Tailwind is still active, and the subsequent turn, Slacking could just go for a double edge if Weezing switches in and shuts off Truant with neutralizing gas. In this scenario, I'm still getting damage done with the Garchomp, so in hindsight, terrestrializing the Garchomp was probably the better play there. I learned something new though. I didn't know that a Truant Pokemon could be switched out on the turn that they would otherwise have been loafing around. So I didn't even consider that to be a possibility when Aaron switched out the Slacking. I thought that Truant worked like a Hyper Beam recharge turn, and the Pokemon would just be stuck on the field without anything to do. So with that, turn 2 ends up being a mistake. If I had known that Slacking could switch out on its Truant turn, I would have protected my Clefable so that we didn't get taunted and we could go for Follow Me on the next turn. Instead, my Gyarados gets one-shot by Thunderbolt because I can't redirect it. But I also could have considered protecting Gyarados so that I could scout for some information on the Golden Go and also stall out a turn of Tailwind. I'm already so behind because of Aaron's great play taunting Clefable. It put me into an awkward spot where I didn't have Follow Me to redirect away a double edge from Slacking that I was EV'd to survive, and I didn't have Protect. Otherwise, I could have stalled out that final turn of Tailwind, and then Gyarados gets some damage down. Despite not playing the rest of the game optimally, I'm still proud of myself that I was able to bring it down to a 1v2. My Houndstone versus Aaron's full HP Golden Go and Galarian Weezing. I actually have a chance to win because Aaron's locked himself into Thunderbolt, but I go for the Shadow Sneak instead of clicking the 200 base power move. But would I have won if I had selected Last Respects over Shadow Sneak? Did I throw? Let's do the math. Golden Go is naturally faster than my Houndstone, but my Houndstone should be faster than the Weezing, which proves to be true. Golden Go moves first with Thunderbolt and does approximately 41% damage. Then Houndstone gets the Last Respects into Golden Go, which is a guaranteed one-hit knockout, before the Weezing is able to use Will-O-Wisp. I don't know the exact EV spread, but I do know that Last Respects is a guaranteed one-hit knockout, even if the Golden Go is max bulk investment into HP and defense. My Houndstone is adamant max attack, so it does at minimum 130% damage into max bulk Golden Go, and at minimum 200% into max speed Timid. On the next turn, it is now a 1v1 between my Houndstone at 60% HP and a full HP Galarian Weezing. Houndstone is now burned after taking the Will-O-Wisp, so all of its damage is cut in half. I am also going to make these calculations assuming the worst case scenario, that this Weezing is fully maxed in HP and defense since my team is mostly physical attackers. Weezing has Dazzling Gleam as its attacking option, which will get a same type attack bonus and is now doing single target damage. Dazzling Gleam is a roll between 28 to 33% damage onto my Houndstone. If we take the average and say it's about 30% damage from each Dazzling Gleam, It will require 2 Dazzling Gleams to knock out my Houndstone from 60% remaining HP. Those rolls become even slimmer considering that I am also taking burn damage at the end of every turn. My Houndstone can keep using Last Respects, but burned it is only doing between 30 to 35% damage each attack. With that in mind, I have an 8.86% chance to 3-hit KO Weezing from full HP. To sum it up, because that is a lot of numbers, Turn 1, Golden Go does 40% with Thunderbolt. I one-shot it with Last Respects, Weezing burns me. On turn 2, Houndstone does roughly 30% to Weezing, while Weezing does roughly 30% back with Dazzling Gleam. Now my Golden Go is sitting at 30% HP and Weezing at 70%. Turn 3, Weezing does take another Last Respects, bringing it down to about 40% of its HP, but then Weezing gets the final knockout, either with Dazzling Gleam or by me taking burn damage at the end of the turn. There's a scenario where I would have won if Weezing had missed that first Will-O-Wisp, but surely Weezing doesn't hate Aaron as much as Rotom does, right? What I'm mad at myself for is not identifying sooner that the Golden Go was holding Choice Scarf and not Choice Specs. At the end of Game 1, it should have been a giveaway that Houndstone was not taking Choice Specs damage from Thunderbolt, but that's on me for not doing more work in the damage calculator ahead of this match. And to be fair to myself, I had only seen Golden Go use Thunderbolt into Gyarados, which is taking a 4-time super effective hit. As for Game 2, I felt like I brought the right Pokemon, but I didn't do the right thing on turn 1. I end up terastallizing the Clefable because I know that I'm not going to survive a Choice Specs Make It Rain from this Golden Go. That's why identifying the item was so important though. Had I known that Golden Go was Choice Scarf and not Specs, Clefable does survive and I don't have to invest the Terra. I otherwise could have considered terastallizing the Scyther so it has a better matchup into both the Make It Rain as well as the Double Shock. I can still use Dual Wing Beat into the Pawmot and bring Gyarados in instead for the Clefable. My biggest takeaways this week are that I should have pivoted a lot sooner after I saw Aaron didn't have Dondozo, and the timing and target of terastallization has been really difficult to identify these past 2 weeks. I'm starting to realize just how difficult in general it is to use terastallization in a closed team sheet format, and I need way more practice with it. It could be hard to get that practice since our official circuit utilizes an open team sheet format since we switched over to Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet, but there are still ways that I can get that practice, so I will work on it. In the end, I still think that the games were super close, and I'm really proud of us for pushing each game to a 1v2 at the end. Aaron just played lights out better than I did. He's such an accomplished player, he's qualified for Worlds multiple times over, and he clearly knows his stuff from all of the times that we've commentated together. GG's once again to Aaron, it was such a fun set, and I'm wishing him the best of luck in all of his future matches. Next week, we go up against Wolfglick, a world champion of Pokemon, and also our Draft League commissioner. I'm really excited to test my skills against one of the best, if not the best in the game, and you know he's gonna be cooking up something wild with this team. Thank you all so much for tuning in and watching this video, for your continuous support of the channel in this video series, and I will see you all next week for the next match.